What's going on, everyone? Today we have the 2020 Chevrolet Colorado LT RST. This is a pretty cool appearance package, and we're going to go through a test drive. We're going to go through the inside, and I'm going to show you everything there is about this truck. Let's get started. Now, real quick, before I get started, I want to give a big thank you and shout out to Britain Chevrolet for letting me take out this 2020 Colorado to show you guys. If you're in the DFW area, please be sure to check them out or check them out with their information in the description below. All right, thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Today we have the 2020 Chevy Colorado LT. This is with the RST, which is actually a $3,000 special edition here. And I'll talk about some of the features on here. Let's do a quick walk around of the exterior. So even though this is a mid-size truck, it does have a fully boxed frame. For those of you that are curious, now this RST up front is gonna give us the Chevrolet writing on that grille. It is unique. You don't have the Chevrolet bow tie anywhere on here. And you've got a complete blackout of this front end, the grille, the bumpers, it's painted. One thing that I'd like to see different though is we have halogen headlights, especially halogen reflectors. I'd like to see LEDs on a truck of this price point. You've also got halogen fog lights down below, which are actually optional equipment. And then as you can see down on the bottom, you also have a pretty low air dam. Now you could definitely remove that if you want a little more clearance, especially if you go off-road. I would recommend that. And then right up top on the hood, you do have a little bit of, a few different lines up here, a couple different bulges for a little bit of a muscular look on this mid-size truck. Now, I'd love to know what y'all think of the look of the Colorado. I like this RST package, the way that this looks. It is pretty sleek, especially with this black color. Now this RST gives us some really unique wheels. Take a look at these. It's called low gloss. They're 20-inch wheels. It's a low gloss black. It looks pretty sharp on here. Black wheels are a little bit tricky to maintain sometimes. They get dirty pretty easily like black paint, but I think they look pretty nice on this truck. You even got this black RST badge right there. So everything is pretty much blacked out on here. And one thing that you don't have is the actual blind spot monitoring system, but you've got a blind spot mirror built in or integrated into your mirror. And just to kind of complete the package, those mirrors are body color, the door handles are body color. So with this black paint, this RST, you've definitely got a kind of a semi-blackout package. And of course, Colorado has that rising belt line coming out the back here. Now, like I said, the Colorado is fully boxed. It has a fully boxed frame, so it's got a solid rear axle as well. And you're gonna get 8.3 inches of ground clearance. Not great, but not bad either. And optional is an automatic locking rear differential, which I would definitely go for. I think one thing some of you will appreciate is the fact that this mid-size Colorado has the bumper step just like the full-size Silverado. You even got Colorado blacked out back there. You've got the bow tie blacked out as well. And let me go ahead and show you what this bed looks like. Now, as we take a look at the bed, one nice thing is that you've got a actual keyhole to actually physically lock it, but now you can actually lock and unlock it with the key fob. So it's nice to have a locking tailgate. You also have this easy soft lower and lift, so it's not going to crash down on you. Now, one nice feature for some of you with mobility issues is on a mid-sized truck, you don't necessarily always get an easy way to get in and out. Like that Ford Ranger I just had, it doesn't have the pull down step like the F-150s, but this Colorado has the bumper step like the Silverado. So it's got a really wide opening for boots. There's even practically like a little grab handle here, and it's easy to get up, easy to get down. And then once you're in the back of the truck, we have the optional spray-in bed liner. It's a roll form steel bed. It has some fixed tie downs in each corner, and it's got 44.5 inches between the wheel wells in this 5-foot box, but you can also have a 6-foot box with the Colorado. And payload that we're looking at right here is 1,576 pounds. Now, as you hop into the front seats of the Colorado, it is a little bit taller to get into. If you have mobility issues, something to consider. You can get running boards, but the passenger side gets a grab handle. So the seats in our trim are cloth. It does seem like a pretty durable cloth. It's kind of tough. Actually, it's got a little bit of a unique pattern on it. They are 6-way power. The driver's seat is 6-way power, but there's no lumbar support. And the interesting thing is the power is for basically the seat bottom, and the reclining function is manual, which is kind of interesting. I believe lumbar support as well as heated seats and a heated steering wheel are available on the luxury package though, which we don't have in here. The seats themselves are decently comfortable. There's not a whole lot of bolstering on them. And like I said, just a little more lumbar support would be nice, but overall, they seem to be not too stiff, not too soft. And at 5'9", I don't have the seat all the way down or all the way up. I've still got good headroom, and I fit in here just fine. The Silverado definitely has a bigger cab if that's what you need. The steering wheel is manual tilt and telescoping. It's got a decent range of motion and it comes out just far enough for me. All right, now inside the Colorado, let's go ahead and start it up. You get the same kind of key fob that you see on some of the modern Chevys. This does have a regular physical key, so some of you will appreciate that. And remote start, we have that. It is an optional feature on this trim. Now starting over on the door, so if you like to rest your arm up on the top, this is hard plastic, and then this right here is as well, but you do have a rubber, semi-padded armrest, decent grab handle, and then all of these windows are automatic down, one touch down, but only the driver is one touch up. So if that matters to you, I really like this little storage bin. It's kind of just a little knick-knack area. You can easily tuck some stuff. Same with this one right back here. My large bottle does not fit right there, but a plastic bottle should be just fine. Then right on the inside, we have our light controls and fog lights, and you can adjust your interior lights right here. Now, I don't know what this slot is right here. If any of you know, let me know down below. It's got a really nice solid thunk, and I think that's because this vehicle is sealed and insulated really well, and we'll talk about that on the test drive. So this is very similar Chevy. This is kind of like the Silverado in terms of its layout. You've got this stack in the middle, you've got some real buttons, all the controls, kind of an upright dash, and it works for me. It's definitely not modern looking, but it is practical in here. One thing I appreciate is this little storage bin right up there, similar to the Silverado as well. Now our steering wheel is leather wrapped and it does kind of have like a gummy feel. It's pretty nice. It's got some decent bulky grips. You've got a 4-spoke design, so you've got this slot in the middle. It's a comfortable steering wheel to hold on to. On the left you have your cruise control settings, and on the right you have your information control settings, and then there's actually radio settings and controls behind the steering wheel. There's no radar cruise or lane keeping system on this truck. There are some optional features, but there's no radar cruise. Now right in front of us, we've got a couple big gauges and a couple small gauges, and then you've got that digital display in the middle. The digital display is 4.2 inches. It is nice to see. It really does have a lot of information. So you can scroll through basic trip computer information and even some transmission fluid temperature, which is nice if you're towing. You've got music, you've got nav, you've got your phone, and other settings that you can customize on here. So it's a nice, simple information display. And then over in the center stack, in between these vents, we've got an 8-inch screen. This does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto standard on here, which is nice. You even got the Wi-Fi hotspot. We also have HD radio and Sirius XM, and we even have the optional Bose speaker system, which you can see the little Bose tag right up above, which is a 7-speaker system. The Bose system in here isn't going to blow you away, but in a smaller cab like this, it is pretty impressive. Now if we go ahead and throw it in reverse, there's a couple things about this. One is that you can actually see your bumper, which is nice, and you have this little trailering icon to click when you can have that selected. If you're backing up to a trailer, you'll get this nice hitch line to guide you right back to it, and it does move with the vehicle. Plus, you have your regular backup camera, which is what's default, which has dynamic lines as well. Then right below that, we have actual physical buttons, which are nice. They have little rubber linings on them, which is kind of cool as well. Physical buttons are always welcome in my book, so you don't have to touch the screen for everything. Regular climate controls, no automatic setting right here. It's just your manual buttons, simple controls, simple layout. Same with these buttons right here, traction, cargo light, and your trailering tow haul mode. There's a tiny little storage bin right below that. There's also a storage bin right here, although this is plastic. I'd like to see that be rubber so stuff doesn't maybe rattle or slide around. But you've got a couple USB charging ports, an auxiliary port, and a 12-volt power outlet. The shifter is leather wrapped. It's got a nice solid feel to it as well. And you even got your plus and minus on the side for shifting. And then you've got your bottle holders here, which have a nice rubber lining inside of them. They are kind of skinny though. That's my only complaint. So they can accommodate some smaller drinks well, but my large bottle is a real tight fit in there. There's another little storage nook right behind that. This is plastic as well, but it's nice to see extra storage. This armrest is pretty nice and wide. It is padded as well, and it's far enough forward to where I can have my hand on the wheel and on the armrest. It doesn't slide forward and backwards though. Then on the inside, you've just got kind of one deep area. That looks like a charging port, but it's not. There's no charging ports in here. So unlike the Silverado, you don't have the dual glove box over here. And you also don't have a locking glove box. I really thought that that would be a locking box, especially in a pickup, but it is a pretty good sized glove box. Up above, you've got sunglass holder and your light controls. The visors have vanity lights and it actually slides out a decent ways. The passenger gets a grab handle over there. And as we turn around and look out the back, visibility's, not great, but not bad being in a truck. You've got that rising window right there, but you also get a manual sliding rear window if you want. Now, one thing that we are missing in here, this is a two-wheel drive model. You're not gonna have anything different in a 4x4 model except your 4x4 controls, which I can't remember if they're over here or in the center, but you get the auto track, so you get a 4 low, 4 high, and an automatic setting, which is really nice. Now in the back seat, mid-sizers aren't known for their space, but I actually still have a little bit of knee space, a little bit of foot space, so it is functional. It's really not bad. And the seat bottom is actually higher than expected to where my knees don't feel like they're super high up, and I still have a little bit of headroom as well. Now we also have a center folding armrest with cup holders that are actually bigger than the ones in the front. There's no AC vents back here. You'd need a full-size Silverado for that, but you've got some large vents right there that should be good enough getting back here. And right in front of us, we've got 2 USB ports and a 12-volt power outlet, plus a little storage bin. So powering the Colorado, under the hood, you've actually got 3 different engine options. You've got a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder, naturally aspirated, a 3.6 liter V6, which we have right here, and a 2.8 liter Duramax diesel. So this direct injected 3.6 V6 is available on everything except the base model. It's going to give you a good 308 horsepower, 275 pound-feet of torque, paired with an 8-speed automatic. Now, miles per gallon is not too bad. On a 2-wheel drive, you'll get 18 in the city, 25 on the highway. You'll lose 1 mile per gallon each with the 4x4 model. And as configured with this 2-wheel drive model, with the crew cab, you get 7,000 pounds towing capacity. All right, everyone, time to get started on the test drive of this Colorado. So right off the bat, my first impression of the Colorado is that it is a very quiet truck. So the Silverado is also very quiet. Pretty much all the full-size trucks are quiet, but this is also quiet inside, which really impresses me. So with this V6, throttle response is pretty good. It's nice to have a V6 available instead of just a turbo like you see in that Ranger. And it's pretty smooth, effortless acceleration. And that's one thing I appreciate about this. And it's got a decent note to it as well when you get on it, and I'll get on it in a little bit here. The steering feel is also, it's not necessarily, it's not super precise, but it is accurate. It's got a medium weight to it, so it's not heavy, but it's not a lightweight steering either. And if you really want to do some off-roading, you can get the Z71 Colorado. But even just with the regular shocks, it smooths things out on here. And there's just a few little washboards on here, nothing much, but still, there's not a lot of noise getting in here. You can probably tell just how quiet it is in the Colorado, even going over just some gravel. And the thing about it is, it's a fully boxed frame. It's a stiff truck. You're gonna feel the bumps and the ruts, but it's really not bad. Now, if you are curious about the diesel for the Colorado, I do have a diesel review on the ZR2, so be sure to check that out if you want to see how that drives. It's definitely a more efficient engine. You got some low-end torque. And the brakes on the Colorado, right away when I got in here, they felt almost a little bit touchy. They're really sharp. You don't have to push very much in them to get this thing slowed down, which is always nice in a truck. I would hope that would translate into towing as well. Easy to modulate acceleration, throttle is good, just good response, and we'll get on it in a second. So this road is relatively smooth, and on a smooth road, this is just as smooth as a car. I mean, trucks have come a long ways. Even though, like I said, it is a fully boxed frame, you still have a decent ride. It's gonna get choppy on some broken pavement, but especially if you're commuting in this or you're on some smooth highways, it's gonna be comfortable for long distances, at least for the ride comfort. The nice thing, as I've come to a stop, this does not have the auto stop start system, which I appreciate. So getting on it. And it'll get you up to speed pretty quick. It gets through those gears fairly quickly as well. You've got a decent note to that engine. And now that I'm up to a little bit of a higher speed, I do hear a little bit of wind noise coming through here, but it's really not much. And it's actually kind of a windy day. But road noise is very well contained. These side windows aren't laminated like they are in the Silverado trim, some of the Silverado trims, but still, it's a quiet vehicle. It's smooth on roads like this, so you really can't complain about the ride unless you're on some real choppy pavement. And especially when you get a little bit of weight in the back of the truck, you're gonna be real happy with how this rides. Now, if you want something, a truck, like capability, a bed, but you want the smoothest, most car-like ride, that's the Ridgeline. But you don't have quite as much capability with that. It just depends what your needs are. This V6 power plant is definitely smooth. And now we are on a bumpier road. Hopefully you don't get motion sickness with this camera angle here. And now like I was saying, on this road that is a little bit bumpier, you're gonna feel it, but there's nothing harsh. I mean, there's nothing that's rattling in here, which is a big plus. You can feel the suspension kind of falling into those areas as well. Then, in terms of living with this, this is not a press vehicle. This is from the dealership, so big thanks to them. So I can't really report on, you know, driving this thing for a week or living with it. But I like where the controls are. The controls are easy to reach. You've got controls on the front and the back of the steering wheel. Visibility in here really isn't too bad. I like this center console layout with the cup holders. Wish the cup holders were a little bigger, but you got storage there, you got storage back here. This armrest even is far enough forward to where I can have my hand on the wheel and on the armrest, which is nice. Another thing that I like is you've even got the little blind spot indicator in the mirror, or kind of a little blind spot mirror inside the mirror. Could also be helpful with towing. So one thing that I've kind of noticed driving the Colorado, going around a couple of turns, is the fact that there's not a lot of lateral support. And most of the time you're not going to need that, which is good. But you know, for being kind of a sportier trim here, I maybe expected a little bit more bolstering on the sides of the seats, but honestly, they're not. One thing is that they're not going to get in your way if you have a bigger frame, and you don't really need them in a truck. But just something I thought I would note. And really, I guess my biggest conclusion with driving the Colorado is just the fact that it's quiet. That's probably the biggest thing to me. I don't have decibel ratings like I do on the press loans, but it's just a quiet ride. But you still get some nice engine noise that comes in here, and it's a pretty smooth powertrain, at least in this short time that I've driven it. So you've got good towing numbers, you've got decent efficiency numbers. The power number on here is good, the over 300 horsepower, so that's welcome. If you aren't sure about a V6, if you're coming from a V8, this is a pretty capable V6. Just depends what you're going for. So that's a wrap on this 2020 Chevrolet Colorado. First of all, what do you think of this RST look on this LT model? And I love the fact that this comes with a V6 still. A lot of you probably would love a V8, but it just doesn't happen anymore. Would you take this V6 or the diesel on this Colorado? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe down below and check out some of these other videos. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.